One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power, invisible, yet we see it everywhere in everything. There's one power, indescribable, yet we speak of it in every word we say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or Heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunlight on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon for its love that's most deep. It's one power. One power, one power, one power. Ran away from the sun, ran away from the rain, hid away from everyone, ran away from the pain. Now I'm so out of breath. Now I'm so scared to death. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground. No more running. Here I am. What's a life covered up? Day and night not to fail. Like a life without love is its own kind of jail. What a waste to regret what I haven't tried yet. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground with my heart unbound. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am. Throwing the game just to make sure that I never win. Kept counting myself out again and again. So nervous, running in circles till nobody knew where I'd been. Maybe today is the day that I let it all in. Maybe my secret hurts, no original sin. It's time, I've made up my mind. I'm ready to dive in. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground. I will sing out loud. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding anymore. For the first time in my life, I will stand my ground. No more running round. Here I am. Here I am. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God when I pray. I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
It's with the words of Dr. King that we begin this morning. Take a deep breath, and I quote, "Oh God, we thank you for the fact that you have inspired men and women in all nations and in all cultures. We call you different names. Some call you Allah. Some call you Elohim. Some Jehovah. Some call you Brahma. Still others call you the unmoved mover. But we know that these are all names for one and the same God. Grant that we will follow you and become so committed to your way, to your kingdom, that we will be able to establish in our lives and in our world a brotherhood and a sisterhood, that we will be able to establish here a kingdom of understanding where men and women will live together as brothers and sisters and respect the dignity and the worth of every human being. Amen. I can imagine no finer words than those of Dr. King with which to open our time together. It is the privilege of an incarnation, as I like to say, to serve as the spiritual director of an evolving, unfolding idea of oneness and possibility. We call it Unity in Lynnwood. My name is Dr. Richard Loren Held. Into this experience, I welcome each of you. What I would have you know is that your board of trustees is a group of people, a group of volunteers responsible for the macro management of this evolving, unfolding idea we call Unity in Lynnwood. Always rooted in prayer, meetings are dedicated to the excellent stewardship of finances and to the high integrity of policies, some of which are changing weekly, as you know. These meetings are often followed with special meetings, telephone conversations, even more email exchanges. Your board of trustees, you understand, your board of trustees works hard. Now, each trustee is elected by you to a 3-year term of service at Unity in Lynnwood's annual business meeting. And the roles are assigned internally each January. And so it is that I have the honor today of introducing you to your 2022 Board of Trustees and to offering today's induction ceremony. And we begin today by thanking our exiting trustee. His name is John Prevetti, who has so generously served this community 2 consecutive terms. That's 6 years, folks, 6 years. So John Prevetti, on behalf of the community that is Unity in Lynnwood, we love you. We appreciate you, and you will receive a gift of gratitude from this community in the next couple days. If you are a member of our online audience, I encourage you to open your social media chat window and to share some love with John Prevetti. Now, your 2022 Board of Trustees are as follows: John Brooks, chairperson; Reverend Dr. Jennifer Lovejoy, vice chairperson; Jack Eckram, treasurer; Linda Babin, secretary; Tori Horseman, trustee; and Tim Vokes, trustee. Good morning, trustees. The following questions are drawn directly from ministry bylaws. So if you feel so inclined, and of course I hope you do, respond simply by saying, I will. Question number 1, will you uphold the spiritual purposes of this ministry?
I will. I will.
I will.
Will you uphold the highest interest of the membership in conducting the business of this ministry?
I will.
Will you consider other duties and issues brought to your attention by the minister, by other trustees, or any member?
I will.
I will.
Now, the following questions are not drawn from ministry bylaws. Even still, we answer with I will. Number 1, will you continue to practice prayer in your life and in your service to this ministry?
I will.
Will you continue to live as an example of spiritual integrity in your service to this ministry?
I will. I will.
And finally, will you entertain grand possibilities and noble visions for Unity in Lynnwood and for all of humanity?
I will.
I will.
Community, again, please open your social media chat windows and share some love with your 2022 trustees. What an honor it is to serve with each one of you. Practical spirituality, welcoming community, that admittedly short mission statement that has such a depth of meaning. And so it is that every week I like to revisit one of the supporting statements which we developed in conversation with your Board of Trustees beginning in late 2014. I hope this belongs to you. I have to tell you, it delights me. It reads as follows: we offer a metaphysical teaching which encourages regular spiritual practice. Encourages regular spiritual practice, including prayer, meditation, affirmation, denial, service, and study. If you would like to pray with someone following the conclusion of our time together, a member of our prayer ministries would be honored to do so with you. Start the process by writing prayer at unityinlynnwood.org. Do include a working telephone number and expect a call from an anonymous number. The Reverend Rich Carlini will join us for a workshop entitled Living and Loving Your Way Through Grief. And I know it's tempting to think, oh, well, no one has died. It's not for me. I would ask you to revisit that. It's been my experience been my experience that many in our community are grieving the loss of their idea of what this community is. I think COVID has presented many of us with changes that place demands upon our hearts. So it's a much broader conversation than, oh, somebody died. It's about a natural process that we can support each other through during times of immense change. The workshop begins at 11 o'clock on Saturday, February 5th. It's a 2-hour workshop. There'll be time for sharing. Everyone is welcome. It is a virtual-only event, so register by visiting the event on the calendar page at unityinlynnwood.org. This presentation will be followed by ongoing support. We will have groups that meet, and it will be followed by an accelerated spiritual counseling program. Did you know that you may make an appointment through the office for spiritual counseling with me, with Reverend Nina, and now with Reverend Dr. Jennifer Lovejoy? We stand in eager support of you during these unusual times. Words of invocation read as follows. Allow them to have their way with you, or to speak them aloud, or to whisper them as you see fit. They read thusly: though imaged and named variously, there is a singular and eternal ground of being from which all life emanates and into which all life retreats. We choose to call this ground of being God. By extension, we come to understand that we are spiritual in nature, human in expression, and limitless in potential. We gather today to remember such truths, to celebrate our unity, and to honor all life. And so it is. We stand at the pinnacle of over 200 years of thinking that consciousness exists for the acquisition of stuff and things. We stand at the pinnacle of over 200 years of what I like to call a think and grow rich mentality, a spiritual materialism, a fallible egotism of half understanding. We stand at the pinnacle of some 200 years of believing in Santa God, of perceiving the divine as something of a cosmic vending machine in the sky. And it's from such a half understanding that the human spends his life manipulating at the level of effect, manipulating his finances, manipulating her relationships, manipulating our bodies, manipulating their circumstances. We find ourselves chanting, I am prosperous, 100 times every morning and 100 times every evening, posting pictures of the latest celebrity mansions on our vision boards. We find ourselves enduring the latest pills guaranteed to reduce fat and build muscle, standing buck naked, as my mother would say, in front of that full-length mirror, complimenting ourselves on our own taut and shapely calves, all too often without addressing the deeper matters of self-worth or self-image. All too often without addressing the deeper matters of consciousness. The human spends his life manipulating at the level of effect. It was Joel Goldsmith who spoke into this, and I quote, "If there is no change in consciousness, there will be no change in outer experience, because that which is consciousness comes forth as manifestation." I like to say it this way: your soul operates with perfect integrity. Now, this isn't to say that there isn't a time for addressing life at the level of effect. After all, many who enter spiritual centers and churches, they do so because rent is due and accounts are low, or because the body fails, or because the heart aches. Many who enter spiritual centers and churches do so because they are hungry. And when this happens, it's time to answer not with some metaphysical formula or a philosophical treatise or a prayer process, but with a sandwich. I've often considered it worthy of our notice that when Jesus began to choose his disciples, he first taught them how to catch fish. He second taught them how to become fishers of men. Maybe it can be said that he met them at their level of need, or at their level of understanding. Would he have captured their attention if he had started with a metaphysical formula or a philosophical treatise or a prayer process? I have to tell you, I am not so sure. So this isn't to say that there isn't a time for addressing life at the level of effect. It is to suggest, however, that addressing life at the level of effect isn't the ends, it's the means. Spiritual growth, development, and unfoldment is always the ends. This is why legislation can be so problematic. We try to legislate racial equality, for example, as we should, but it's only when the consciousness of humanity changes that racial equality can truly come into its full potentials. We try to legislate clean water and voting equality and humane prisons and ecological sustainability and economic justice, as we should, religious freedoms, but it's only when the consciousness of humanity changes that these noble ideas can truly come into their full potentials. We clamor for outer equity, but we cling to inner greed. We clamor for outer compassion as we cling to our inner selfishness. We clamor for outer evolution as we cling to our inner comforts. In all manner of human progress, we clamor for the outer as we cling to our inner stasis. But it's only when the consciousness of humanity changes that these noble ideas can truly come into their full potentials. And this is what spiritual ideas really do. Spiritual ideas, ultimately, they're not calling us to get. Spiritual ideas are calling us to become. That all people are created equal, that all people have inalienable rights, that all people should enjoy something of a level playing field in their pursuits of life and liberty. These were radical ideas then, and they are radical ideas now. And they're radical because they call us to become something wonderfully new, something that even now has yet to be fully realized. Now, as tempting as it might be to think that I bring you a new idea, I don't. It's not new at all. It's been available to us for centuries. It's Dr. King, whom we celebrate this month, who said it this way, and I quote, "God help us as individuals and as a world to hear it now before it's too late. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and God's justice, and all these other things shall be added," end quote. We stand at the pinnacle of some 200 years of thinking that consciousness exists for the acquisition of stuff and things, when in truth, stuff and things exist for the cultivation of consciousness. And I hope it makes some sense when you think about it. After all, it's only the consciousness that endures. Everyone's dream car eventually goes to the junkyard. But the consciousness of worth, that consciousness of freedom, that consciousness of creativity that you cultivated in the process, now that sticks with you. It was Goldsmith who went on to say, and I quote, "Many spiritual students believe that if they can just change a sick body into a well body, unemployment into employment, a bad person into a good person, that this is spiritual demonstration." But he says these are not demonstrations, these are the effects of demonstration. We cannot demonstrate person, place, thing, or condition. We can only demonstrate the presence of God, the realization of God. And when we have achieved that demonstration, all these things are added unto us. Health, employment, supply, home, companionship, whatever is necessary automatically follows. You see, we don't go to God for loaves and fishes. We go to God for God. And when we have a sufficient realization of this, the loaves and the fishes are added. It will do no good to go to God with request, petition, desire, because God possesses nothing that God is withholding from you. All that God is and all that God has is constantly flowing into manifestation, expression, and form. And to think that prayer will influence God to speed it up or to deliver it to your doorstep is foolishness. God is infinite intelligence everywhere present. God cannot withhold anything, and therefore our prayers must always become prayers of acknowledgement. So whether the word is acknowledgement or realization, awareness, the message is the same. Every prayer is a prayer for consciousness. All ideas move us to consciousness. All words move us to consciousness. All stuff and things move us to consciousness. For that which is consciousness comes forth as manifestation. Or as I said earlier, your soul operates with perfect integrity. For when we seek acknowledgement or realization or awareness, when we seek first that consciousness of God, we elevate ourselves from the Buddha's, quote, low arts, end quote, of manipulating at the level of effect, to find ourselves in that cosmic river of divine adventure. And the price we pay, is the relinquishment of our attachments to what we think we want and to how we think it should be delivered. It's Unity's third tenet, then, that suggests that outer experiences are inextricably bound to inner states. Or as you've heard so many times before, life is consciousness. Life is consciousness. And this is my challenge to you this week. Let your first prayer be for a consciousness equivalent to any good you desire to experience. Instead of clamoring for that Cadillac, spend some time cultivating a heightened sense of your freedom. Instead of clamoring for that relationship, spend some time cultivating a heightened sense of your lovability. Instead of clamoring for that money, spend some time cultivating a heightened sense of your worth, exactly as you are, without anything to do, without anything to prove, without anything to correct, without anything to earn, without anything to become. Spend some time cultivating a heightened sense of your worth, not as something that can be gotten, but as something that must be accepted. Let us become a people of that which we would realize in our lives and in our world. Let us go to God for God, as Goldsmith would say. Let us go to God for God, delighting in the idea that the loaves and fishes of infinite possibility await our collective readiness. Let's take a deep breath together right now. Let's take a deep breath together. If you're comfortable doing so, make your body comfortable and close those outer eyes. It's been said that the first step in meditation is simply to ready the body. And then to turn to the question, what is God? Let's do that together. Let us ready our bodies and then turn to the question, what is God? And let us look about at the infinity of flowers and fruit, trees, foliage, the infinity of life in the universe. Let us look at all of these things as the activity of God itself, existing without human intervention, petition, existing without affirmation. Even in the depths of the so-called depression, the land brought forth bountiful crops. The oceans were teeming with fish, and even then birds filled the skies. God had no power to increase God's supply because it was already infinite. It was more than the earth could use, and it still is. So we look about. We consider the nature of God as life and sufficiency.
I release control and surrender to the flow of love that
about at the cycles of earthly existence, at the endless array of seeming beginnings and endings, each seeming to affirm the potentials of a balanced universe. We look about at the accommodations of nature, at the countless ways that she cares for her own. We look about and we consider the nature then of God as life and as love.
I release control and surrender to the flow of love that can heal me.
We look about at the activities of existence herself. We study life, and we see that never did the apple seed grow the lemon tree. Never did the cat birth the elephant. Never did the darkness produce the light. We look about and we consider the nature of God then as life and as wisdom.
I release control and surrender to the flow of love that can heal me.
Perfect life and sufficiency. Perfect life and love. Perfect life and wisdom. And if these words be true, it is this realization then, it's this awareness, it is this acknowledgement that blesses. It blesses me, that blesses all receptive souls in ways beyond my human imagination to conjure. And returning to the words of Dr. King, thou eternal God, out of whose absolute power and infinite intelligence the whole universe has come into being, we humbly confess we have all too often lived by our own selfish impulses. We often give in order to receive. We love our friends and hate our enemies. We go to the first mile but dare not travel to the second. We forgive without forgetting. And so as we look within ourselves, we are confronted with the fact that our history of living is a history of revolt. Oh God, give us the intelligence then to know your will. Give us the courage to do your will. Give us the devotion to love your will.
I release control and surrender to the flow of love that can heal me.
I'd like to say thank you for your support. Thank you for your support of prayer, your support of hand, your support of heart, and your support of finance. I'd like to say thank you. And even as I say thank you, I call to mind your image, and I hold it in light. Perhaps you would join me in such a practice of giving thanks to those souls, those who have come before, those who are with us now, those even who are yet to come. Giving thanks for the gift of their support of a spiritual idea called unity in Lynnwood. So thank you. Every January, your Board of Trustees invites you to what is called an annual financials meeting. We hold the annual financials meeting in January that it might align with our fiscal year. So gather today at 12:30. It is virtual only. If you have not yet registered, please visit the calendar page. Visit today's calendar page. Click on the event and register. Do check your junk mail for the registration link and join us. Review past performance. Review Unity in Lynnwood's current position and the 2022 budget. Small group ministry. Everything is virtual at the current time. UIL Connects is an unstructured social time of connection and conversation deepening. That's second and fourth Thursdays. The students of Myrtle Study Group, Myrtle Fillmore, is a co-founder of Unity with her husband, Charles Fillmore. She has some really compellingly beautiful teachings in the form of writings and compilations. This group is dedicated to that pursuit. Excuse me. That's last Sundays, 12:30 p.m. The Search for God study group dedicated to the writings and teachings of Edgar Casey. That's every Monday evening, 7 o'clock p.m. Again, all are welcome. Interlude with Reverend Nina Clark, Wednesdays, 7 o'clock p.m. It's been written that we come together to pause. Oh, the gift of a pause. The gift of a pause. I don't know about you, but the gift of a pause is a gift of great value in today's world. The gift of a pause and the opportunity to remember the truth of who and what you are. Your Board of Trustees has made the mindful decision that services will be virtual only through February 20th, to be reviewed thereafter. Thank you always, always, always for your graceful pivot, flexibility, support, and love. On their behalf, I can quite tell you their decisions are rooted in a deep love for you. I would want you to know that. Let's close the eyes again. Let's take a deep breath together. Let us close as we began with that spiritual technology, with that discipline, with that practice we call prayer. It is an intentionalization. It is an elevation of the prayers which are always underway within that chittering mind of ours. So we pause and let us end our time together with the bold and noble assertion that the God of our being is at hand. The God of our being is in this place and in this time, in the same way that the God of our understanding has been in every place and in every time since the beginning of places and times. The God of my understanding is at hand. The God of my understanding is active. The God of my understanding is alive. The God of my understanding is ample. The God of my understanding is that very highest seer within me. It's a seer that knows what it's doing. It is a seer that knows how to sustain me. It knows how to live me. It knows how to source me. It knows how to think me. So I lift my faith into such a knowing. There is that within me that is divine. There is that within me that is brilliant. There is that within me that would bless, that would harmonize, that would rebalance, revitalize, reinvigorate, transform. And it is into this bold and noble suggestion that at long last I can say, thy will be done. Thy will be done then. Use me. And as I consider reopening those human eyes, I do not abandon this state, but I bring it forth. It is no longer an exception, but it becomes the way we walk through the world. How good it is to be. And always, 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 how good it is to be together. And we close our time together as we always do, with sung words of blessing, with sung words of farewell.
May the long time sun shine upon you.